Photos, photos, photos. Today on Meta-QS, we teach you on how uploading your designs and creative photos to your spaces can make you a superstar.
But first, spin that logo.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Israel Galindo, and you are?
I am Marcy Bressler.
Today, we are bringing to you photo uploads and how to bring that experience into your spaces and worlds, right?
Exactly. And today we are actually visiting DJ Is in the Music Factory. So, first is tell us about the Music Factory and what is it all about?
Yeah, indeed. So the Music Factory is an actual nightclub that was built in here in Metaverse. We bring this space anybody who likes to dance. Like Marcy, you love to dance, right?
I sure do. Boogie, 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 boogie. Shake it all
Can we still
around.
do 80s dances? Hold on, let me try to do the Pee Wee Herman.
I was just gonna say we could do the Pee Wee Herman. I mean, I could try the Running Man, but it just looks like I'm rowing a boat. Okay, so you built this as a club. Is that what it's just used for, or?
That's a great question. So a lot of these spaces can be repurposed just by going into altspace and changing it up a little bit. For us, as you remember, we did an amazing event, Night at the Roxbury, which was a Night at the Roxbury experience. So this club could be turned into anything you want it to be. For us, we like to repurpose it into events of other music creations, really expand on that in what the club is used for. And by the way, did you know this club was designed by Artsy herself?
Oh my goodness. This is actually one of my favorite ones. I know that, I mean, anytime that she does do a new design, they're always fantastic, especially the way that you do end up creating it. But this one has always been one of my favorites. It just feels so, this is exactly what a club would look like, especially out in the city, way you have it designed.
I agree with you. I mean, the way that she set it up, this was such a great space to do outdoor events, indoor events. It's a beautiful space. It's just perfectly lit. And us adding our touch to it just made it so, so amazing. And, even a lot of the images that we have here are just beautiful images as well.
Definitely. So how can other users in AltSpace, how can they actually visit this place?
So I'll put it into the description. There's two ways to do it. You can use the link that takes you directly into the Altspace world, or you can enter the code that we'll also put in the description, and they can type that into their Altspace item, headset, computer, however you enter the metaverse.
Correct, because I know that you have also been doing with Tribe, also been DJing for them recently. So it has been in other areas that you have been DJing. So I have noticed, I mean, we are today talking about the photo uploads. Let's get down to that. Notice that you do have a lot of pictures around the Music Factory, which I love so much. I mean, amazing color, and it just goes with this whole place. I love the way it looks. So, how do we do stock images in AltSpace? Or at least why add photos to your space?
That's a great question there. And one of the things I have noticed is when we first came on board in Altspace, I noticed that we did not have any images. Matter of fact, what I'll do right now is I'll bring up our camera guy's screen. When you're in Altspace, you'll notice on the screen that there is no photo section in Altspace, but there is a section in Mine, which is one of the menus that we have in Altspace as well. How can somebody upload photos into their worlds when there is no link between the outside world and the inside world?
Exactly. So, we're talking about actually uploading these photos to our galleries or at least putting them in there so we can put them in our space. I do have a question about that though. I remember how you just mentioned that we did do event of the Night at the Roxbury. And I noticed that when you walked in, there were so many pictures up of the actual movie itself. Is that okay? I mean, are those copyrighted or would you get into trouble for using that in any way?
Right now, the way we've got Metaverse working, obviously, Altspace is owned by Microsoft. Microsoft does have a few restrictions that they tell you about certain things you should not be doing, but because we are not really selling anything in Metaverse, and Metaverse still is evolving on the laws of the Metaverse, we are in a gray area right now that we are allowed to upload images and photos like Night at the Roxbury and all the actors and everything
Correct.
of the movie. The question still lies on, will a user report you having those pictures up, which of course then would be taken down by moderators of altspace.
Okay. When it comes down to your images that you are uploading, I have a personal question. Can you have explicit photos in your worlds?
In my private worlds, and you've been in there, all the worlds, there's a lot of explicit photos. Joking, I don't have those kind of worlds, but I've been to those kind of worlds. And yes, these kind
Yes,
of
we have
worlds,
seen them.
they do have explicit photos, but you have noticed that you go to those worlds, there is a disclaimer saying there's going to be pictures and items in these worlds that are 18 and older, and making sure that you are 18 and older to get in and see those things so you don't get insulted and
Correct.
offended when you see something.
It's actually good that users do put that up, or creators when they put up the age disclaimer for those situations. On certain days when I'm actually in alt space with DJ Kitten, who is 8 years old, I always know, okay, I know what worlds to go into or worlds that not to go into, because they do have an age disclaimer up.
Correct. So going back into the photos, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make my hands float behind me. Ooh, magician. Ooh. I'm gonna control the screen behind us while you are taking the audience on what they need to do, how they need to move around to be able to upload a photo.
Okay. And right now we're going to be showing people how to actually upload them.
Once you are logged into the Altspace website, which is altvr.com, you're going to go to photos and you're going to hit upload. Once you go to upload, you are asked to take a file. And right now, we're just going to grab any file that we have here. We're going to give it a name. I would just call it DJS because I think this is what this one was. Make sure it's not explicit for this video. And then as far as the hashtags, you can just put any hash that has to do with what this is about. For me, this is Club X, all of that. Sharing with community is going to allow the photo to be shared across other worlds in case you wanted them to use that photo as well.
Correct.
And you hit create photo. Now, depending on your internet and the size of the photo, it might take a few seconds to upload or even up to a minute to upload. Again, depending on the size of the photo.
Okay, so now that we have uploaded it, are we now going to put it inside the world that you were creating at that time?
Okay, so now what we're going to do is, with the magic of the cameraman, we are going to follow the steps of what Marcy's letting us to do, teaching us how to do, to make sure you guys can see on the screen how to get to the photos and how to start putting them on the wall right behind me.
So first we are going to go to World Editor. You're going to click on the Editor panel. On the Editor panel, you're going to click on Mine, and there you're going to see Photos. Once you click on Photos, any one of them that you have recently uploaded will be the very first ones there. And then you're going to go ahead and click on the photo that you want to bring into this world. Actually going to bring up one I took in 80s Club. You'll notice the image will show up for you. From here, box will show up around the photo. I can actually make it bigger or smaller. I can move it upward or downward. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place it on the wall behind us right over here. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. This was at Club 80s.
Mars, while you're putting the picture up, you can adjust it pretty much any way possible, large, small, up, down, top, bottom, any direction. You can do that on the photo, correct?
Even right now, even though I have it already up, I can still go back to editor. Let's say that I don't want that to be, I just don't want it to be that size anymore. I can always go back to my editor. I'm going to click on World Editor and go to Edit Mode, which is right above Editor Panel. This is where I can make my adjustments to make it bigger or smaller. If I want to place it in a different spot, I can place it in a different spot, and there you have your photo.
You know, it's funny. I always wondered how people are putting cool photos up there, and you just gave us a perfect tour of putting a photo in a club in the world in metaverse and in altspace.
So a lot of you might actually be wondering, how was I able to put up the photos in this music factory? He's the one that created this. How was I able to put up the photos? So another question, and this is going to be our top secret tip for the week, is how can you add users to your world, help with admin, to help with designing? Would you like to show us how to add, well, like for instance, in my situation, how you added me to the music factory to be able to help you design?
Yes, indeed. So this all goes back to going to the altspace website. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go back into altspace where you were. You're going to go to more. You're going to go to the world that you want to give access to for that person or group of people. In this example, we're going to go to Music Factory that lives inside the Israel universe. I'm going to go into that. We're going to scroll down to the Music Factory, which is a dome right here. I click
Oh,
in the
that's
Music
right.
Factory. What it'll do is it'll show me the properties of the Music Factory. If I scroll down, I'm going to hit edit. That will give me to the Music Factory settings. And on the right side, I would add a person right here on the contextual roles, which you can see on here, lets you add or remove a role for specific user as they can help you. So if I was going to add a new user, it's right below. Don't let the top add friend for you because that's for sharing your world. We can go to add user, can come up with a name, whoever it is, but you actually have to make sure you're using the user's actual
User
space
ID.
name. So if we start with the top, which is Doodler, it allows you to basically do basic designs in the world, nothing major. If you use the host one, host allows you to host in the world, doesn't allow you to create anything. Megaphone only allows you to be kind of like the hype man, to be able to shout. Moderator can kick people in and out and see what's going on with people in the world. Music performer, well, you're performing, so you get to really have more access to the world. Pilot allows you to obviously fly around the world and take care of that. And then Terraformer allows
Okay.
you to be an admin, do everything you want to do in the world. Forget that once you've actually added that in there, you want to hit update. And it will update.
Yes.
Now, if the user is incorrect, for example, I would use Mars instead of MacB62, it would actually come up and say that user is not found. It won't let you add the user. So make sure you have the user ID correct. And then you just hit update. Once you've updated the world, it'll take you back to the original screen like this with no error messages. It'll actually let you know the different roles that people can use right here, as you can see. And after that, Mars, you can go nuts and do whatever you need to do. One thing I do recommend is you do trust the person you're giving access to.
Correct. I mean, definitely, just like with Iz and I mean, he does trust me. He knows I'm not going to ruin something. But if you are creating something new, make sure that the person that you are using or you want to also be part of that world, that you know that they're going to on the same levels as far as like the design, everything else with you.
That is correct. So when she asks me to her world, I go in there and I just delete stuff, never let her know about it. And when she goes back in, she goes, "Had a TV. What happened?" And I mess with her all the time. And then she starts freaking out, going, "God, I'm losing my mind. Put a wall up and
I
it's
could have
gone.
sworn I had
What
that
happened?"
up.
We hope you guys enjoyed this. We had fun doing it. I always have fun with Marcy doing our Meta-QS.
Meta-Q Mondays.
Meta-Q Mondays. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that ringer. Got that schnizzle.
You know it. And don't forget, you can always ask your questions on the comments and we can answer them in our next Meta-Q Mondays. So enjoy the video, you guys. Thank you again for joining us on our Meta-Q Monday.